Waste Reduction Week Guidelines. Do a 1 week waste audit without making any changes. At the end of the week, weigh the recycling, compost, and garbage. Do another 1 week waste audit following these 7 guidelines. Meal plan days in advance and plan meals based on food you already have. Try to not buy anything in plastic. Do not order anything online. Finish all your leftovers. Do not throw anything into the garbage without first thinking if it can be reused, recycled, or composted. Avoid using any plastic that you already own, for example, paper wrap, Ziploc bags, etc. Shop local for as many items as you can. At the end of the week, weigh the recycling, compost, and garbage again. This was the amount of containers produced during the normal week, and this is the amount produced during the waste reduction week. This is the amount of paper and cardboard produced during the normal week, and this is the amount produced during the waste reduction week. This is the amount of other recyclables produced during the normal week, and this is the amount produced during the waste reduction week. This is the amount of compost produced during the normal week, and this is the amount of compost produced during the waste reduction week. This is the amount of garbage produced during the normal week, and this is the amount of garbage produced during the waste reduction week. This table shows the weight change between the normal week and the waste reduction week. For containers, the weight changed from 6.2 pounds to only 1.2 pounds. For paper and cardboard, the weight changed from 9.8 pounds to only 4.4 pounds. For other recycling, the weight changed from 2 pounds to 1.4 pounds. For compost, the weight changed from 10.2 pounds to 10 pounds. And for garbage, the weight changed from 9 pounds to only 1.4 pounds. The following videos highlight the experience a person from Quesnel had while following the Waste Reduction Week guidelines. Meal plan days in advance and plan meals based on food you already have.
It was easy to meal plan and to use what I had in my fridge and freezer. And so my meal planning, I based it on what I had in my home. And this resulted in me having to shop less, and it also resulted in having less wasted food.
Try to not buy anything in plastic.
It was difficult to actually buy products that weren't packaged in plastic. Some products I couldn't find any other option. So like cleaning products, for instance, yogurt, we wanted some cherry tomatoes, lots of fruit due to COVID right now was all in plastic clamshells. And so I found this really difficult because there were some products I actually looked for other options and they weren't available in my community.
Not order anything online.
Some things are really easy to find locally, like groceries and daily items that you use around the house or yard. But then there's other items that are very difficult to find in Quesnel, such as certain types of clothing. And so in order to get them, you either have to travel a long distance, which is not environmentally friendly, or you order them online, which seems a more viable option.
Finish all your leftovers.
I made a conscious effort not to have as much waste, and so things that I knew we wouldn't eat as leftovers, I made smaller servings of so we could finish them in one meal. And things that I knew that were great as leftovers that everyone liked, then I made that as I would typically, but I ensured that we ate them in a timely manner. And this way, by the end of the week, I didn't have as much waste or things that had gone bad, and I didn't have to compost or throw out bad food.
Do not throw anything into the garbage without first thinking if it can be reused, recycled, or composted.
I found that composting is something that's easy for me to do. We have a compost bucket under our sink and we put all our produce in there, and then we take it out to our larger compost in the backyard. However, we don't compost any meat type products due to wildlife in this area because we have a green belt behind us and we would have an issue with bears and other animals. I try to reuse as much as possible. I've always kept like glass jars for crafts and egg cartons, and I keep some things for school for crafts and activities. Um, and then recycling, I find it's easier now that we have curbside recycling, but as it keeps evolving in Quesnel and they are expanding it, there are certain things that I'm a bit unsure what can and can't be recycled, and it's hard to find it on their list or on the pictures or online. So sometimes I'm unsure what to do and I'm not sure if I'm recycling correctly.
Avoid using any plastic that you already own.
It was quite easy to store food in Tupperware containers and put it in my fridge for daily use, but I found it more difficult when I wanted to put something in the freezer, because that's when I like to use freezer bags or Ziploc bags, and I couldn't find a viable option to replace that, so I wasn't quite sure what to use in place of freezer bags or Ziploc bags when I was freezing items. But for the daily food that goes in your fridge, I had a lot of Tupperware, so it was really easy to use Tupperware. And I also found, instead of only using Tupperware, sometimes I just left my things in the bowl, and I had some special covers that I was given for Christmas that you can wash and reuse, so I was really conscious to use those frequently to store food in my fridge. So those also worked well. And I do know about the beeswax wrap. I just don't have any, but I'd be interested in looking into getting some and learning more about how to wash it and how to reuse it and its length of life.
Shop local for as many items as you can.
It is actually quite easy to do most of my shopping locally in Quesnel. I can do all my grocery shopping in Quesnel because I can find everything I need. And during COVID, I shopped more locally. Well, I actually just shopped less, and so I didn't need to order or go anywhere. I just did less shopping myself, so that it was easy to keep things local. Like I said earlier, though, there are a few items, particularly clothing, that are difficult to find in Quesnel. Certain sporting type things, like my husband is into golf, it's hard to find golf clubs and golf gear here. So often you have to go to Prince George for certain sporting things or clothing, and that is either travel or online.